Good afternoon, everyone. We're happy to be here, Tim and I both, so thank you for having us. And we're all researchers, right? And we ask lots of questions. So let's see if our clicker works. So if I were to ask Tim a question, Tim, do you like ice cream?
Of course.
Who doesn't like ice cream? But that's his verbal response, right? And that's only really half the story. So if I then went on as a researcher and I said, why do you like ice cream?
It's great. It just tastes good.
It tastes good, exactly. So again, still just that verbal response, right? So in some of the sessions, I've already heard this today, but in our traditional research methods, it's about surveying, right? And so we're just asking questions and we're hearing back from them. And from neuroscience research that we do within Coca-Cola, we know that verbal piece is just the conscious mind. That's really only 5% of the story. But when we do that neuro research, we can get to 95% of that non-conscious, that really those emotions and feelings of why you do, what drives your motivation. And for Tim, liking that ice cream, it could have some association with his grandfather and going to the ballpark and having ice cream, and so we want to get there. It's what really drives why some people will have a mouth-watering reaction to this picture when it's presented in store, and other people might have a reaction to this picture. And so ultimately, as researchers, when we're trying to drive additional sales, we want to get there. But we're not here to talk about neuromarketing research, and that's a really challenging field because it's unrealistic that when shoppers are in store, somehow we're going to connect brain monitors to them and really be able to connect to that brain activity. So we're not going to get there today, but what we are going to talk about is getting to that feeling and that activity they're doing in store that's a bit beyond the surveying. So first, let's just walk through our story, which is talking about what's our challenge. So our challenge is, as a CPG manufacturer with Coca-Cola, we want to help our retailers to drive sales in store. And as the shoppers come in, there's very unique groups of shoppers, but if we can really understand them, we can help to drive that one additional purchase to that destination purchase that drive them in store to begin with. And as Roberto mentioned, I work on the convenience retail channel, and in that channel alone, our opportunity is huge. We have over 154,000 convenience retail stores in the marketplace. We have over 125 million shoppers in those stores, making over 13 billion trips. Each basket that they're in there, they spend about an average of $10. And so as an opportunity base, we can do simple math here and just say, if we increased each shopper by $1, that's not even every transaction, but if we just took those shoppers and increased over the course of the year when they're in there, that's $125 million. So we talk to our convenience retail partners about how do we drive that incremental purchase in store. So those of us that have been in the industry for a bit of time are very familiar with how we drive sales. Those 4 Ps, we like to talk about them. So we want to drive sales, we can just give you a great low price. We want to drive sales, we can give you a broad, my clicker's not working, a broad assortment. So you may come in for the regular flavor Fanta, but we can say, oh, did you try the new flavor that we just launched? We can drive your additional sale with a purchase or with a promotion. We invented the BOGO, right? And then we can also drive it with that 4th P of placement. Where we place that display in store will help you influence those. But we need to keep in mind that we're very challenged on many of these Ps. They've been around for a long time. So the promotion piece, Kantar Retail tells us recently that we're having a very significant decline in promotional awareness. So we've promoted so much in store. There's a sense of promotional blindness. The shoppers don't even see the promotions in store anymore. And really those who are real price savvy have an infinite better vehicle to just save money in multiple other avenues other than just some random promotion we placed in store. So promotion is a much more challenging P or lever to use to drive those sales. And the assortment piece, we're challenged in store to maintain our core SKUs to make sure those are always in stock and have enough holding power for those core items, that it's challenging for us to give our whole deep assortment, the array of assortment. And then in many categories beyond beverages, if someone wants a different size or different color or whatever, they just order it online. I mean, there's no reason to not order it online. I can get it the next night or the next day. So the assortment piece is not really the trigger that it used to be for us. And then the price. We all know that as we continue to lower price, we just commoditize our product and just diminish the ability to maintain that healthy growth. And if you're in the food category, you're really in trouble because they're having some severe price deflation right now in the food category. So where does that leave us? I'd say that leaves us at the placement. Where are we placing our products in store? And think about large store when you think about that, about how their center store is just stagnant and all the activity is on the perimeter. Well, everyone wants to be in the perimeter, but the store's not set up that way. So that's why you see all of these large stores and really a lot of channels merging into these new formats. And they're just placing the products in different spaces and having you engage with the product differently. So I'd say placement is a key lever for us. And then if we want to be real creative, we can add a new P, which is personalization. That's where you're really attaching to that shopper in a personal, meaningful way and driving an incremental sale with them. But what we're trying to do, we're almost even challenged with that. We're trying to get someone in store to purchase more when today's shoppers really want less, right? So they want a tiny itty bitty car or they want no car, they just Uber. Or they want a tiny itty bitty house, or they want no house. The whole urban living, at least at Coca-Cola, all of the young new employees at Coca-Cola, they all live downtown, which is just fascinating to the older generation that goes out and gets a big house and the big SUV and all that. That's just not who we're talking to anymore. So we do need to understand, what do they want more of, that today's shopper? So they want more time. We all want more time. They want to have fun because they're documenting it all on the social network. So they have to have something fun that they can share with other people, and they just plain want to feel good about, their interaction with you, about just their day in general. Like, give me something that helps me feel good. So ultimately, our objective is when we can better understand our shoppers and personalize our approach to them and do these things that they want more of. We can show them that we help them to save time. If we can provide a fun experience with them that they can share with others, if we can create a good feeling that makes them feel good, then this is a really safe way to drive an incremental sale with them. So let's make it real. Let's bring it to life. Okay, so I work for Coca-Cola, one of the most iconic brands, some of the top marketers in the world. So you present them with that challenge and that objective that we just talked about a minute ago, and they come with something like this, the Share a Coke campaign. So this is a display that they came forward with, and hopefully you're familiar with it. The name is on the front of the can. We've been doing it for a couple years now. So when they went through those questions, they said, did I save time for the shopper? Well, these are some of our top packages that we put the names on, and we put them in an impulse location, so we would check the box and say, yes, we did save the shopper time. Did they have fun? Well, those packages have your name on it, so how fun is that to have your name next to the Coca-Cola brand? So we'd say yes. And then, did you feel good? Well, the concept of this campaign is that you find someone else's name. So you pick up the package and you share it with someone else, as that makes you feel good, that you kind of brought some happiness to someone else's day. So yes, yes, yes. But we're still focused on that placement, that location. And so we had additional questions. So where are shoppers going in store that we can really make this display have the most impact? And then, when they're moving around the store, where are they engaging the most with different aspects of the store? And then beyond that, what are some of those unique qualities between the groups that'll help us target more specifically to them? And so as we started to answer these questions, we thought, or we found that insights are really everywhere and sometimes in some non-traditional places.
Thanks, Stephanie. So I work for a company by the name of InReality, and for over 20 years, we were in the design, production for POP displays for a lot of large brands, and large and small brands. And a lot of these same questions have always come up. We got into the digital business several years ago, and then over the last several years, we kind of have been working on trying to reinvent how we look at our designs as well as other designs and work with companies to make sure that we're giving you just-in-time information and what the consumer's expectations are. So with that, we've kind of re-evaluated our company, and we're working around a couple different disciplines. One is real-time store analytics. The second one is responsive content. It can be on your phone, it can be on a digital screen, but again, somebody was talking about that omni-channel experience, the overused term omni-channel, but our consumers today more and more expect that. They want to engage with a brand when they're in store. So where you've got that opportunity or where you present that opportunity, it's important to take advantage of it. And then the third one is, where do they go in store once they come in? And how do we do this in non-invasive ways, but yet report back to the brand where they visited, where they didn't visit, and what's important to them. And then obviously rolling that up into insights. Where do you go from here? It's just like it says on the slide, insights are everywhere. Everybody's got data, but how do you break that down into actionable insights so that people can do something with it quickly? So in an example of a project we worked on with Coke, you'll see this is with Racetrack. What we did is the technology side of it was we mounted some cameras throughout the store, and with that, we were able to get at the 3 questions that Stephanie was challenging us with, and that's where did my shoppers go? Where did they spend time? And how much time did they spend? And what was really driving that attention time? So just kind of showing from the camera view what it sees and what some of the output is. On the left, you'll see what's called the heat mapping. So obviously the orange or the red, depending on what you see from your color perspective, is where there's more people that are densing up. And as it gets cooler, green to blue, you'll see there's fewer people. But then as people come in on the right, what's the traffic flow? Where are they going? And now from there, it's not only where are they going once they enter the store, but how do we track them throughout the store? So what we did is we mounted a few different cameras, and this is not the creepy kind of cameras. This is the cool kind. That basically, it's facial detection, not facial recognition. So what it's doing is it's basically reading the individual's face. It's putting them into a category of a male, female, an age group, and basically throwing that information up to the cloud in real time so that you can basically see what's going on. So with that, you're able to then measure the traffic, measure that attention time and dwell time, get at the gender, and get at age. Just an example here of the dashboard that we have the ability to have the brand look at, the retailer you can share it with, or anyone else on the marketing side to basically see what's happening. And it's a simple dashboard that allows you to basically slice and dice down and manipulate the data as you see it and kind of change the charts to see depending on what you want to understand from the insights.
So as Tim mentioned, with this data in store, we were easily able to answer those questions of where are the shoppers going, where are they engaging more or less with different displays that are currently in the store, and give me some of those unique shopping patterns. So those were some of our initial questions, and the list could go on and on about just the actual in-store shopping behavior analytics that we learned from monitoring them. But in addition to that, because of the real-time nature of it, because it's just so quick and it's on the dashboard and what's happened yesterday is already in there today, we learned that we could use this in our program development. So before that Share a Coke display is finalized and launched to 1,000 stores or bottlers or whatever, we can have a couple different versions and we can put it in the store and put these cameras on them and see who's reacting more or less to each one. And we can put different products and put them in different places and things like that. So it's really kind of changed our process to be more of a testing and learning during content development, which really helps the broader picture. But so related to that P, we talked about the placement piece, but related to that personalization piece, this is really where we want to head and we want to leverage some of this data. That if I'm trying to target that female shopper, or really just anyone who's saying through their activity, what they're purchasing is that they're living a healthy lifestyle, we might show them an image like this in store with kind of a healthier meal. But if we're targeting maybe a male shopper or someone else through their behavior has shown us they really want to treat themselves, we would maybe use an image like this. Or if we know that there's a Hispanic group here, we might use an image like this. If it's a teen group, we might use an image like this. And really to bring it to the next level, which you'll see Coke doing a lot more of, is actually bringing that consumer into the image. So really making it personal with you're actually using our product in an occasion that we're targeting you with. So that's where we're headed with all of this research. And at the end of the day, insights are everywhere, and you really only make them meaningful when you bring them to life and you take action against them. So being in the insights work at Coca-Cola, I hear that all the time about, Stephanie, I don't want you to just give me a bunch of information. I want you to help me do something with it. What am I going to do with it? That's kind of the question I get, either from a retailer or inside the office. So ultimately, that's our objective. My sales team, their objective is to drive sales. My objective is to bring that insight into life, that they're actually doing something with the insight. So this is a way to do that, that I can use that insight to help show the unique differences between the shoppers. They're motivated differently. That as we talked about, insights are everywhere. That using some non-traditional, that was a new relationship that we formed working with Tim. And then when you personalize it and you're talking specifically to that healthy shopper or that person looking to treat themselves and things like that, you ultimately can work to get them to make that additional purchase. There you go. Thank you.